I'm not putting the city down. I'm just describing what I see. Last time I was out there one time with my buddy Dean, and we were going through the alleys, and they had world record breaking. I'm talking cucumber, freaking gourds the size you grow in the garden, feces, human feces in the alleyway. Let's watch this video.
Look at Lemon Field in Seattle, one of the host sites for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Today, President Trump suggested once again that World Cup matches could be moved from Seattle, citing the mayoral election of Katie Wilson.
And he did it with the president of FIFA standing right next to him. KOMO senior reporter Chris Daniels has reaction from Olympia to Seattle tonight and joins us now in the studio with more, including, Chris, whether the president can do this.
That's right, Molly and Preston. FIFA signed the contracts with host cities like Seattle, and there are numerous logistical issues surrounding this event that are different than others, which makes it debatable about whether the White House could make such a claim. And today's state and local leaders downplayed that anything will change.
The star of the Seattle World Cup will not be the games. It will be the city.
That's Seattle World Cup Organizing Committee President Peter Tomazawa reacting to a headline-grabbing quote from President Trump, connecting Seattle Mayor-elect Katie Wilson to the city's ability to host the 2026 World Cup.
So if we think there's a problem in Seattle where you have a very, very liberal/communist mayor, I would say, it's certainly beyond just liberal. I watched her over the weekend. Wow, that's another beauty we got there. But if we think there's going to be a problem, Johnny, can I say we will move? I don't think you're going to have this problem, but we're going to move the event to some place where it's going to be appreciated and safe.
Yeah, well, I think safety and security is the #1 priority.
Gianni Infantino of FIFA awarded the global event to Seattle and 10 other American cities, with 6 matches scheduled next June and July. And when touring sites last year, Infantino said Seattle was a cut above the rest.
I'm extremely confident. I mean, the commitment I've witnessed here from the authorities. I will definitely use and cite and mention Seattle as an example as well to the other host cities.
Wilson campaigned on a statement that she was excited to host the awesome event to make permanent upgrades instead of expensive temporary investments. The federal government has already allocated $625 million in grants to host cities for safety and security under the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill Act, passed by Congress and approved by Trump. And Tomazawa says Seattle received everything it asked for.
We are working lockstep with the White House task force. We're working at every level of government, local, state, national, even international on the border, to make sure this event comes off as the best event ever. And so we're super pleased with how it's all going.
Which is why he's convinced, as are other elected officials, the tournament will go on as scheduled. Seattle's current mayor, Bruce Harrell, told me in a statement, the statement from the president was, quoting now, political theatrics and displays his ignorance about our city and what we stand for. Governor Bob Ferguson's office also told me Seattle will be an excellent host, and he looks forward to working with Mayor Wilson and her team. Wilson, however, did not issue a statement or want to comment on any of this today.
Oh, so, Chris, does the president actually have the power to pull games from the city if he wanted to?
That's the multi-million-dollar question that everybody asks. This is a deal, though, between FIFA and the host cities, not the federal government. And keep in mind, the World Cup next year is actually spread between Canada, Mexico, and the United States. It's a massive, massive logistical event, too. But in theory, could the federal government withhold grant money for security? Yes. But no one is suggesting that is going to happen. And frankly, what we saw today from Infantino, who was put on the spot there a bit by the president, didn't make any suggestion that he's making a change in plans just yet.
Yeah. All right, Tris, thanks so much.
Okay. Yeah, Seattle used to be so gorgeous. Loved to go out there, but when in the last few years it just became horrible. People actually took over a portion of the city, and it was legal to do that. A U.S. major population center as big as Seattle, and it was legal to take over a portion of the city. I'm not going to put the city down. I'm just literally describing what I see. when and I have to admit, it's been a couple months since I've been there because honestly, I avoid going to Seattle. I avoid going to Portland if I can. And when I get off the ferry, it's like the cologne of Seattle. I'd walk past the ferry terminal. I'd go through the overpass, the bridge from the terminal to the city. And the cologne of Seattle, it smells like human piss. It's ridiculous. You'd go through and then you'd look down past the overpass, and there'd be tents and RVs where the homeless live. And I know they're cleaning it up, but until 2025, it used to be legal to openly use drugs on the streets of Seattle. You wouldn't go to prison, you'd go to voluntarily counseling. You'd voluntarily go to counseling. And you could steal like $1,000. You'd go into a store, grab what you wanted, and come out. If you ran, the cops legally could not chase you in Seattle. Now that's changed. Now this is as of 2025, and it's ridiculous because they wouldn't put you to prison. They'd give you voluntarily. You'd have voluntarily to go to counseling, and yeah, it's just weird. Like I mentioned earlier, my buddy Dean and I, we'd cut through the buildings because it would be faster to get from point A to B, and we'd see these record-breaking, huge, it's size of a cucumber. I don't know how that's humanly possible, but size of a cucumber, human feces along the alleyways. And I mean, I've been around the world. I've seen and done some shit. But if I can avoid going to Seattle, I'm sure it's changed, but if I can avoid going to Seattle, I would avoid going to Seattle. I just wouldn't want to put myself in a position to where I wake up and I have to harm somebody. And that's just me personally. Now, you guys may have other experiences. I'm just saying, I'm all for FIFA. I'm all for FIFA in Seattle. And I know by 2026, I'm sure they'll clean up the city. They'll make it beautiful. They'll sweep the city streets clean. But until that happens, I personally avoid going to Seattle. Okay, what do you guys think? Maybe I'm totally wrong. I've just got the wrong perspective of things. And let me know. Share it in the comments. Share your experiences. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.